broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I'm looking at me.
I really like this song.
I know, I do too. It's such a sweet song.
Funny thing about me.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Oh, sorry. Hello, AfterBuzzers. Thank you for joining us for Season 1, Episode 7 of Selfie. This is episode Landline, and I'm your host, June Lee, and joining me is the lovely...
Hi guys, it's Selfie.
All right, so let's get into this episode. We have so much to cover.
Yes, we do.
So we meet Julia. Mm-hmm. Julia is her name, the lady from the taxi cab from last episode. What did you think about how she was introduced?
Well, in this episode, I thought it was a little awkward, like their initial meeting between her and Eliza.
Right.
I guess they could have introduced her a little bit better than, like, you know, out of the blue, like just throwing her out there, like, oh hey, like she was just in his office,
right,
you know.
right.
But I thought it was. I guess it could have been better.
Were you surprised? Who did you think was going to be in there?
I kind of had a feeling it was going to be her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had at first I didn't know, and then I caught on. I'm so glad that we had Maddie on.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's so charming.
Yeah.
And what did you think about Eliza's obsession with Tobey Maguire?
I thought that was really funny.
I loved how Tobey Maguire trumped Obama. Like it was like Obama, Tobey Maguire.
Well, I mean, it made sense because she, you know, she like has that personality where she kind of cares more about what's happening in pop culture as opposed to the world.
That's true. That's true. So we see Julia come out and she's thanking Henry for a lovely time and the lime-infused water. I love how formal they were.
They were a really cute couple, I thought.
Yeah, they are. They are a very cute couple. I mean, it's very hard to not like her. She's like a very polite woman. She's incredibly intelligent.
And she's just like him.
And she is just like him. I love that little, you know, snippet of like them getting ready and, you know, how he said that. What's the word that he used? Simpatico? Because like she's so likable because she's exactly like him. And when they're sitting there having coffee and she's having her croissant, and they were wearing the same color cardigan.
They were actually wearing the same thing. If you notice, like in the beginning,
was it exactly?
It wasn't exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
but,
but
it was
pretty
very
much
similar.
Yes.
Like when she left his office, she also wore like a
suit.
pantsuit, but she had a blue shirt inside, and he had a blue shirt inside.
Yes, I noticed that, and they had like a blue plaid shirt underneath the maroon cardigan. Fashion was on point this episode.
Yeah,
like,
I thought so too.
I really noticed the fashion aspect of it. I thought all of Eliza's, you know, outfits were amazing. I love that emerald green shirt. It was a top, right?
Yeah, I think it was a top. Yeah.
I thought that was beautiful.
I loved her white coat.
I know. We had to talk. Yes. Okay. Let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about all the fashion in this episode.
Okay.
Okay. So and then they were and Henry and Julia were also wearing like matching jean outfits. She was wearing that jean dress.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he's like, "Okay, do you want to hold hands or do the pinky?"
Yeah, I thought that was so
adorable.
was so cute.
That was so cute. They're kind of, oh, it's just like, I don't want to say they're a perfect couple because I feel like, you know me, I love Eliza and Henry. But this episode was really different. I mean, we saw none of that, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What do you mean none of that? Like,
well, I don't know. I thought there was like a little bit of it when you know, Henry shows up with the landline, hence the title.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's kind of like talking to herself, narrating how they don't have any sex, but they have a lot, you know, they spend a lot of time together, and how they're truly friends. And so, and you know, like I've been consistently saying, like, they're more than friends, they're more than friends, they're more than friends. So it was like interesting for me to see kind of how she thinks about it, but it still makes me wonder if she really truly feels that way.
that they're just friends.
Yeah, because at the end, or I guess I'm jumping a little bit, but at the end, you know, well, not completely at the end, after she, you know, kind of trolls Julia, Dr. Julia, on the doctor page, like doctor review page, which is true nowadays. You know, I don't know, like when you're going to a doctor, do you review them?
Of course.
Yeah.
I want to know who I'm letting like go like look into my body, I guess.
Right.
You want someone good, not someone that's like a bad doctor.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm a little bit different because my mom works for UCLA, and so I have to see all of the UCLA doctors, so I don't have a choice.
Right.
So like I'm a little bit more limited, but I thought it was really funny how she
Yeah. I mean, that's how it is every day, like nowadays.
But anyways, so she trolls Dr. Julia, and Henry is infuriated. He shows up at Eliza's door, incredibly angry, and I think it was because it was more, he was just angry that she could do something like that. I think he was really disappointed.
I think so too. I think he was more so disappointed than angry because I feel like he probably felt like he taught her better. Yeah. You know? Like she has been under his wing for these past couple of weeks, and that's something that you wouldn't expect of someone that you're teaching to be a better person. Right. Well, do you think she was kind of acting out? You know what I mean? To try to get him to come back to show, hey, I need your help, because she kept on saying, like, I didn't sign Linda's card because my nails are wet. You know, she was trying to prove that I'm showing up late for work. You know, I'm using I'm turning in personal receipts. You know, do you think she was trying to seem worse than she actually is? I think so. I think she's doing it on purpose. I think she knows that what she's doing is wrong, but I feel like she likes his company as a friend. You know? So you think because it's a friendship? I think so. I mean, I got a vibe the first time when I was watching that she was jealous because she wanted his attention more than friends, kind of. But then looking back at it, it just seems like she just wants him to pay attention to her because he is her only friend in real life. Yeah, I would definitely say this episode made me kind of think, you know, more about the friendship option, you know, and their friendship more than their relationship, like the intimate relationship, you know? But yeah, I going back to Julia and Henry for a second, I loved how, you know, they shook hands at the end. They're like, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure meeting you. And then they pecked each other on the lips. I was like, I thought it was a little formal. I was like, that's a little too much. Like, if you guys are in a relationship, like you. Well, I think it's funny because I feel like Selfie is all about, you know, what's happening now, what's new, what are the newest kind of trends in social culture. Yeah. And I just realized tonight that, you know, the way that you don't really recognize it as much when it's just Henry, but like Henry and Julia together, the way they speak, and like it's like a whole nother language. That's true. Did you notice that? Yeah. Like, you know, like just I can't let me think of like a specific word. I don't know, but like just the way that they were speaking to one another, and like even when she was talking about her day, when you know she said that, you know, somebody left her like a very bad review, she was like, have you ever heard something so ignorant? Yeah, they're just very proper. Very, very proper. So do you think that exists today? I think for some people it does. Our producer is like nodding her head like, yep. Yeah. I mean, I know someone who's like that. Really? That's our age, yeah. Really? Yeah. Wow. That's our age. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit? Like, what does she do? What is she into? Like, is she a professional? Or I think I mentioned this, like when we first started, when I was talking with Courtney, but she is not on social media at all. Oh, that's that friend. Yeah. She's she's like a very proper person. Yes. So, yes. And you have to call her. Yeah. Yeah. And I just don't really like calling people. Really? Well, I actually love calling people. Yeah? Yeah, I do. I think texting is just so much easier. And you're constantly in conversation with the person that you are texting. Whereas on the phone, like, you have a limited time or like amount of time where like you can't constantly be on the phone with that person like I don't know what is 24 hours. I feel totally different. I think for me the phone call is, you know, that like close time. Yeah. And then like you maintain that with text messages, I think, for me. And also it's like we're always like running. I spend a lot of time in my car. Maybe that's why. And like when I'm driving and I'm watching Netflix and
Okay, I hope no kids are watching this. Don't do this.
Wait,
Don't.
you watch Netflix
While I'm driving? I know, it's horrible. I know, it's horrible. I drive, I'm watching Netflix, I'm listening to YouTube.
I'm actually impressed. Like, how do you do that?
Well, I have unlimited data to start with.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's definitely one. I mean, like, gosh, I think I used like 7 gigabytes or whatever it was, like a couple of months ago. It was crazy.
I can't imagine that.
I know. But what was I saying? I got sidetracked with my driving.
You were talking about if we knew anyone who...
Oh, yes, texting and phone calling. Yes, yes. So, I don't know, for me, even as a person who likes calling, I thought when Henry gave Eliza the phone book, I thought that was a little too old school for me.
Yeah, I mean...
That was really old school.
Well, the landline was pretty old school.
I mean, like, but I feel like I use landlines, but...
that kind of phone, though, the rotary phone?
Yeah, when I was growing up, we had that phone.
Really?
But that was in Korea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we had to write down our numbers, but we didn't use phone books. I don't think I ever used a phone book. The only
I
thing
don't think
used
anyone has ever used a phone book.
Yeah, it's like you put it under the couch when the leg breaks.
Yes,
that's what you use the phone book for. Right, but we see their boss, Eliza and Henry's boss, come and offer this amazing opportunity for Eliza to kind of showcase her new people skills and immediately she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited and I'm going to succeed because of Henry and he's not there. That was a sad moment.
It was pretty devastating.
Where did he go?
I don't know. Maybe he just left because he thought they were having it was a Eliza and their boss conversation.
Yeah, but that's never stopped him from hovering.
That's true.
And he hasn't been like very polite in like work situations like that. He's definitely criticized her in front of other employees, so he hasn't been the most polite. So it shocked me that he was just kind of MIA. He just left. Maybe
he felt like she was doing better and she didn't need
genuinely.
Yeah. I mean, she did show in last week's episode that she was able to prove herself. The one where they went on the getaway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe he just felt like she was ready to handle something on her own.
Right.
But she was being a selfish person and wanted him all to herself. So
let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. So do you think that Eliza is a selfish person, or I'm not gonna lead the witness. Go ahead.
I do think she is a little. Well, I think she's more self-absorbed than selfish. Especially the things that she does. You know, like how in this episode, how she was trying to get his attention. She was like listening to what everyone had to say, like their advice to her. Like
Charmonique.
Yeah, like Charmonique and Bryn's. Like I thought Bryn's advice was pretty like spot on, where she said like, you know, she needs to support him.
I love Bryn. She's always like the voice of reason.
She is.
She's the steady, you know, kind of like foundation.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She is pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's
They
really
should have showed her more.
I know. I feel like Bryn can have like her own show. You know what I mean? Like a spin-off of Selfie.
I feel like it would be a mix between New Girl and Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I feel like yes, I totally agree. I love Big Bang Theory. Yeah. I could not get into New Girl. I know you do that show though.
That's so great.
That's so great. That the show is great, or that I don't like it?
No, that the show is great. No, but seriously, I don't think Eliza took her like advice to heart, because she was like, when they came off the elevator and she was like, oh yeah, like Henry, like I totally support you 100%. But like she didn't feel it, like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't heartfelt. Like it was just to say it like for surface reasons, but deep down she's like, I don't really support it, you know?
Well, I thought she was trying. She's trying, you know? I mean, like, she made a cake.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, no, near the end.
Yeah,
I meant like earlier in the episode. Yeah,
she made that urethra cake. Bladder. And What's the prostate? There we go.
Yeah, a very interesting cake.
I really like that.
I wonder if she made that herself.
I think so. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I was too.
I'm telling you, Eliza is very crafty. I mean, she's a very talented, smart woman, I think. You know, she's just a little...
She's a little lost.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the way when she was walking out to introduce the speaker, that kind of describes Eliza. That walk down.
The awkwardness.
The stage really, you know, like encapsulated her for me, you know. This tall, obviously beautiful, stylish woman, but doesn't know how to quite carry what she's got, you know, kind of still learning how to walk. Yeah. Almost. It's very endearing.
I can see that. I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
So, I mean, and she's in a relationship as well. And she sees Freddy. Yeah. And I really like the way how Henry describes him, because I feel like this is the only time he really uses slang. We always see Henry be very formal and talk a lot, you know, just like very politely and proper, or like old English style. But you know, like he was like, oh yeah, it's okay, like I mean, he's a tool, but I still support you. And I was like, oh my god, it's so funny that he's calling him a tool. Because it's a very kind of modern word.
I agree.
Do you think Freddy's all that bad?
I don't know. I feel like we haven't really seen much of him to make an opinion. I think he could be a good guy, because in that episode where Eliza ends up in the hospital,
she falls down the manhole, right?
He came to her, like, he didn't come to her rescue, but he came to see how she was doing, and like, you know, took her home in public, which was a big deal for her
back then.
So I think he could be a good guy. Maybe he just has like tool-like tendencies.
Right. I really like, and I don't even know if it's fair to call him a tool, because I feel like Henry is kind of judging him.
He's probably jealous.
That's where I was going with that. Like I think Henry is a little threatened by Freddy.
Yeah, but I don't think he has anything to worry about.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know, but Freddy's very handsome. He's very cute, and he's kind of sweet, and like I feel like he does care for Eliza, like genuinely. What do you think?
I think so too. I just feel like we need to see more of that.
Yes. And I love how Selfie, like the writers of Selfie, kind of build these very complex characters around the main characters. You know, like Freddy, he's, you know, that kind of like stereotypical jockey, popular, like handsome douchebag, maybe, but not really. And you kind of see the human side of him. Yeah. And the same thing with Charmonique. Right? Yeah. Well, what did you think about Charmonique's advice to Eliza this episode? I thought she was being very, very difficult.
I thought it was... Well, I thought her advice was a little juvenile, but
right.
But I feel like it was. You were?
I was surprised. I was surprised because, you know, she was talking about her friend Camila, you know, and like that this girl was trying to steal her best friend, and that she put the beat down. Yeah. You know, so I was like, whoa.
I didn't think that was surprising at all.
Really?
Well, because remember last episode when they were trying to hook him up with someone? Yeah. She ran after his car. Yeah. And it was because she had said that she does that all the time. Like, she's a blocker. Like,
But remember how we said that we think she's blocking Julia and Henry because she's, you know,
she wants
Eliza's friend.
True.
But why is she blocking her? Just, I don't know. That's something I never really understood. But blocking for blocking's sake. But
maybe we should go back and rewatch that episode.
I remember that episode. Like, I really felt strongly, even last episode, that like she would when that episode was that last episode or the episode before that?
I think that was the last episode, because the one before that was when they went on that retreat in Santa Barbara.
Oh, I see. Right. Yes. I felt that. I thought it was because Charmonique might have maybe liked Henry or was trying to help Eliza. But in this episode, it seemed like she wasn't really trying to help Eliza.
Well, if we're going off based on the theory that she's helping Eliza, then I do think that advice that she gave Eliza was to help her out. To, like, cut the middle person out of the picture.
Right. Julia, right?
Julia, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I think if that's what it is, then... Maybe that's what she's doing.
Yeah. So we had to talk about when she's at the office, when she's at Dr. Julia's office. She goes there with the cake. You know, she's ready to make peace. Yeah. And then she kind of has this epiphany. She meets this girl. Oh, that girl was so cute.
It was really cute. It was a cute moment.
I thought it was, you know, if this show continues, which we'll get to at the end of the show, I thought that was maybe kind of like a little bit of like a forecasting Eliza's child sometime in the future, like somewhere in the future. Because remember how I talked about that? Like, I can kind of see Eliza being a mom, like the show kind of wrapping up with her being a mom. Obviously, that might not be the case, unfortunately. Yeah. Because I can't believe it. I think it's so early. It's so early to cancel.
Yeah. It's really early.
It's very, very early. We might as well talk about it just for a second here.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I feel like the show has grown a lot. Yeah. You know, a lot of people watched the pilot and thought, okay, this is going to be a shticky kind of, you know, same thing same jokes over and over and over again. And then it developed into like this relationship. And then we were all like, okay, maybe it's going to be one of those like romantic comedies, they fall in love. But then no, now like we actually see like there's like some struggle there. Like, are they friends? There's another woman, you know, like. Yeah. And so it has such a long journey, potential of a long journey ahead of it. Right. And, well, what do you think? Obviously, we think, as huge fans of the show, we think that it should stay on the air. But why do you think it should stay on the air?
Well, I think it's a great concept. And it's not like any other comedy show that's out there, per se. Yeah. You know, it's more, I feel like it's more relatable, even though it's very exaggerated. Absolutely. You know, but I do think it is a little too early for it to get canceled. They did have 13 episodes, like, waiting. Yeah, and I imagine they already have episodes that are ready to be shown. Yeah. They've shot them, you know, usually they shoot them, they have them ready, like, at least, you know, 6 weeks in advance, right? Yeah. Well, I think what ABC does is they order 10 episodes first, because that's what they did with Scandal, I think, and that's what they did with How to Get Away with Murder. But 2 very great shows. Yes, 2 amazing shows. 2 amazing shows. But I think a couple weeks ago, they announced that they ordered 5 more episodes, making it 15. Yes. And then now it's getting canceled, so I'm not quite sure exactly why that happened. I know. I thought that was, and they were recently nominated at the People's Choice Awards for Best New Comedy. And so, I was very shocked. I felt like it was kind of coming out of nowhere. And I was on YouTube, and this gentleman who goes by the name of Awesome Meow on YouTube was talking about, you know, how the rating system might not be the best way to kind of judge Selfie. Right. Well, because a lot of people DVR shows now. They watch on Hulu or like where do they get these ratings from? Well, how many people watch? I think, I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on this. But I remember learning in school that there are certain cable boxes that have a little ticker on them. Oh. So that's how, but not everyone has one. Yes. So it's only certain households. Right. So ratings aren't necessarily exact. It's just an estimate of how many people are actually watching. So it's more about how many people are watching. Yeah. So I see. That's probably why it got canceled. Well, he mentioned that Selfie is not on air in Britain. And Karen Gillan has a huge following. Right, she's on Doctor Who over there. Yeah, and, you know, everybody there has to basically, if they want to watch it, download it illegally, and they are doing that. Right. But the problem is that those numbers, those eyeballs, so to speak, don't get considered in the ratings here. Right. And so that's like a huge thing to think about, I think. Yeah. And also, like, people were just saying, you know, just kind of on a social level, like a macro social level, like, this is one of the most important and unique interracial couples we have seen. I don't think we've ever had an Asian male lead in a romantic comedy in a interracial relationship with a Caucasian woman on TV. And this is groundbreaking. Yeah. Right. Okay, so back to the show. We'll continue more about that. Back to the show. So at the end, she goes up. She finds the courage, right, from the courageous kitty, from the little girl. Yeah.
in the doctor's office, and she gets up on stage. But before we see that, we see this kind of interaction between Henry and Julia, where he's like, you know, who is it? Felicia Rashad.
Yeah.
Who we both had to Google. But I think she's an amazing woman.
Yes.
She's an singer-actress who was who got a Tony, and nominated for an Emmy as well. So amazing woman. I think what Larry and Henry were saying, you know, was that, you know, unless she's Felicia Rashad, meaning like she's the perfect woman, you know, like women are emotional, they're not always rational, and then like Larry's wife is calling him and she's like, let me talk to Henry, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And she goes as far as to say, is it just you making that voice? But she kind of, I can kind of see them, you know, her thinking that.
Yeah.
Poor Larry. That must be so difficult to be in a situation like that.
Yeah, it is difficult actually.
Do you have personal experience?
Just one. It was like back in college. I had just started driving, and my mom was like, "Are you at school? Where are you?" And I was actually with my best friend, and she knows my best friend. So she was like, "Are you sure you're with her?" Because I just called her house, and her mom said, "You guys are like, you're not there." And I'm like, "Well, I was there. I'm at the store." Like, do you want to talk to her? But,
oh my gosh!
I could relate at that moment with Larry. I was like, "Larry, I know where you're coming from."
That's so funny. Well, yeah, parents are kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like for a relationship, it's even
it's
worse.
Definitely weird.
And I think that's what they were showing with Julia, is how grown up she is, you know,
in comparison to
Eliza. Yeah. Well, it was just the way that she handled the whole. Okay, first they're coming in the door together, and they're like making out a plan, a schedule for dinner, which like that's very my personality as well. I'm very like a personality. I like planning everything, but I was just like, oh my god, these two, it's just too much. They're so cute. They're so adorable. But then he says like, I might have to work later, and she's like, fine. Yeah. And he's like, well, I don't have to, like, if it makes you upset. And she was like, right away, she was like, oh, I'm sorry if I sound upset. That's just my go-to kind of tone. I'm not upset. Like, it's fine, Right. But it was just the way they executed that communication was so impressive, It was very grown up. So I feel like it's just like a strong contrast with Eliza, because I feel like a lot of their communication is very convoluted, and even their relationship, I kind of feel like maybe they're at a place where neither one is willing to say, I like you, But has it gotten that far though? Like, do they really like each other, or is it just all in everyone's mind? You know what I mean? Like, it is played out like that. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be like that. I agree. You know what I mean? I agree, but I think, Henry said in the beginning of the episode, like, you wanted me to do this. The whole reason why I'm dating is because you told me to get some. Yeah. That was inserted very sneakily in there, but I feel like that was his kind of way of saying, well, isn't this what you wanted? No? I'm totally reading into it and making up my own backstory? I don't know, because that does make sense. Like, I can see that. But at the same time, like, I feel like it's just simply platonic. Like, if there was, like, a smidgen of maybe they could be. It happened in the episode where she was trying to help him get some. Yeah. And he, like, read the signals wrong. He and Larry read the signals wrong. I thought he was hurt in that episode. Like, I really thought that, he thought... Because Larry was kind of like, dude, she's into you. And he was like, what? And there was, like, that shot on his face. And he was kind of like, maybe. And then, like, he was like, they had that whole, like, intimate thing, remember? Like, when she showed up at the house and, like... Yeah, but if you think about it, he wouldn't have acted that way if Larry didn't say anything. Do you think so? I think so, yeah. So you think he would not have acted that way unless Larry... No. I don't know. That look was pretty serious. Well, if Larry didn't say that, right? Okay, there was something there, then Henry would have just been like, okay, like, cool. All right. Well, let's roll into some predictions, maybe. Okay.
And now for AfterBuzz TV.
So,
predictions.
If Selfie stays on, which I sincerely hope it does, I hope everybody tuned in tonight just to kind of show, like there was like a whole petition, like this petition on Twitter, and people like hashtag save selfie, and everybody was kind of banding together. It was amazing. What do you think might happen?
Well, I think and hope that Henry's relationship with Julia like gets a little bit more serious. Mm-hmm. I know you like Henry and Eliza.
No, I think it would be good.
I think it would be good too. I think they make a great couple, and they're very like, even though they're very similar, I think that's what Henry really needs. Like he needs someone who's straightforward with him, not someone who will play games with him. You know? So I'm hoping that happens, and I'm hoping that Eliza, like maybe she can find someone too. Like if it's not Freddy, then it's someone who's like mature, who's like Henry, who's like also like her, but is willing to help her like grow and mature. Right. So
yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that will happen. I think we'll see Julia and Henry kind of grow as a couple, but I think what we'll see is, and here's my little segue into Henry and Eliza. I think Julia will help Henry see ultimately what he needs, and I think what he needs actually is somebody more like Eliza, because I think they're more complementary, because when two people are so similar, it can be very difficult, and I think everybody will be better for it. I think Julia will understand that she's been looking for somebody like Henry, and maybe she wants somebody a little more like Eliza, because in life you gotta have balance. And I think I can foresee like Julia kind of Henry like, I'm not your girl. Yeah. Your girl is that jolly, what does she call it? Jolly ginger giantess. Yeah. That's so funny. She's so lovely. She's so beautiful and so elegant. Yeah. So I guess that's it. I sincerely hope this is not the last episode. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch this AfterBuzz. Check us out on iTunes and download. Where can we find you, Michelle?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _MichelleFee.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, ms_June Lee. Bye. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.